Hi, my name is Audrey, and I will be talking about an ecologist named Dian Fossey, and she is known for her extensive study of the endangered mountain gorillas in Rwanda. Mountain gorillas are critically endangered by human hunting for bushmeat and habitat destruction. These gorillas live in the volcanic mountains, and 10 years ago their population was just around 700. But now, because of Dian Fossey's work, it's up to around 1,000. Dian Fossey was born and raised in San Francisco, California, and became a zoologist. She first trained to become an occupational therapist at San Jose College and worked in that field for 7 years at a children's hospital in Louisville, Kentucky. However, her life changed when she took a trip to Eastern Africa and met Louise Leakey and Jane Goodall, who would be her mentors for a few years, and that's where she had her first glimpse of the mountain gorillas. After her trip, Fossey returned to the United States, but Leakey persuaded her to go back to Africa and continue doing research there on a long-term basis. She agreed and established the Karosi Research Center in 1967, when she was just 34 years old. She had a hermit-like home in Rwanda's Virunga Mountains, and she became the world's leading authority on the mountain gorillas. Her workers could only speak in Kinyarwanda, where she could only speak in Kiswahili, which made it very difficult to communicate. So she got work done by using sign language until she was able to say a few words. Fossey took notes and gathered data on the mountain gorillas' communication, behavior, habits, and social structure. Throughout this, she discovered that they were endangered from poaching. In 1970, Fossey left Africa to complete work for a doctorate at the University of Cambridge in England. In 1974, she obtained her degree in zoology and the completion of her dissertation, The Behavior of the Mountain Gorilla. She was so inspired by her mentor, Jane Goodall and Leakey, that she desperately wanted to return, and she said this: "I believe it was at this time the seed was planted in my head, even if unconsciously, that I would someday return to Africa to study the gorillas of the mountains." She was successful in generating enough funds to go back and pursue her dream. When she returned to Rwanda, she went with student volunteers, which made broader kinds of research possible. In 1978, she brought the media to Africa to allow for more coverage on these endangered gorillas. She was even on the cover of a National Geographic magazine, which garnered a lot of attention to her and her work. The more coverage she got, the more funding she could collect to continue her battle against poaching and save these beautiful creatures. Throughout her research, she became known as the woman who lives alone on the mountain. During her stay, she tragically lost one of her gorillas one night to poachers, and that pushed her to create what is now known as the Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund International, or called the Digit Fund, with the sole purpose of financing her and her anti-poaching patrols and preventing further poaching of their mountain gorillas. Her research concluded very notable characteristics of mountain gorillas, including gorilla vocalizations, rare insecticide, gorilla diets, and how gorillas recycle nutrients. All this information was gathered to come up with ways for humans to manipulate the continuing existence of these mountain gorillas, which keeps up with maintaining the biodiversity of their forest homes. While Fossey lived in New York, she wrote Gorillas in the Mist. It displayed all her years of working with the gorillas and highlighted the need for strategic conservation efforts. When the book became popular, it helped inspire the ecotourism opportunities that can now be found in Rwanda. I selected this ecologist to study because I greatly admire how passionate she was about saving these mountain gorillas, and because I believe poaching is one of the worst tragedies that can affect a species. Poaching isn't some complicated solution. It can be curable if the media can get involved and people are brave enough to speak about it. Dian Fossey was. She did everything she could until her death, which was murder over protecting her mountain gorillas. She gave up her life in America for this passion, which made a significant impact for their conservation. If it weren't for her, the mountain gorillas in Rwanda might have gone extinct. I love how Dian Fossey had grit. When one of her mountain gorillas was murdered by poaching during the night, she didn't give up. It sparked her passion even more to save these creatures of the mountains. I aspire to have grit like her. Fossey's work significantly increased our understanding of these primates and brought global attention to their conservation needs. Here are my sources, and thank you for listening.